Sorry about that. My camera turned off. Still trying to get used to this. Still trying to get used to filming. It's actually recently very new at this filming. I'm trying to film some videos and to download them on YouTube. Maybe start a YouTube channel. I'm usually not the kind of person that does something like that, but I've been wanting to do it. And so, but like I said, I'm kind of like a very private person. I really don't like putting myself out there, but in this case, I'm pretty much filming the river, the river here. So not too bad, and figure I get to show everybody the sights and some of the places that I visit on my bike. And hope you're enjoying the video so far. There's the museum right there. It's the Gloria Galt River Landing San Antonio Museum of Art. I've gone in there one time only, and man, it's a nice museum. It has like all the way up there on the top, I don't know how many floors it has, but I think it's part of the old Pearl Brewery, part of the Pearl Brewery, and my uncle Bob, that uncle that I was talking about him earlier, he used to take me fishing in back of that museum right there, which is now the museum, but it was the Pearl Brewery, and he would take me in the back, and this river was there, and we'd go fishing for perch. Yeah. And I came down here from California. I think I was 12 years old. He was a big part of my life, my Uncle Bob, because on your left.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. And so this is where it starts getting a little busy over here, because they got a lot of people that are tourists. And they're, and also not only tourists, but there's a lot of natives here that they just come down here to enjoy the river. It's such a beautiful place that, when you're down here, you just go into a different world, Get away from the rat race. And down here, you just at home with nature. On your left.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's all right. Here's some plum bagel. That blue plant right there is called plum bagel. And right here to the left is that pampas grass again. Look at the rocks on that. You can sit there. They got benches, you can sit there and enjoy the weather. If you come a little bit later, right now it's we're in June, and third week of June, and it's about 94 degrees right now. Here's a real shaded area. You got this building on the right hand side over here. I don't know what that is, but I've come by here a lot of times, and there's, the bar is going full blast, and up there on the top, they got a balcony, and There's a lot of people crammed up in there on the balcony, and everybody's partying, having a good time. As you can see the river, hope you're able to see all that. Uh, it's, uh, it's called the Soul Cypress Hotel. They got a bar and restaurant over there on that side. These trees right here are called bald cypresses. They grow along the river here, and their roots go into the water. And as you can see, they're green. They love it. They love those cypress trees. They love to be near the water. Anytime you go down here to our rivers, like the Guadalupe River, there's a lot of cypress down there because they grow right near the water. Here's a lot of the Turk's cap right there, the red. See the little button? They call it Turk's cap because the little red bloom that comes out of it looks like a Turkish cap. I don't know if you've seen those people from Turkey. They wear those caps that looks like that, and so they call it Turk's cap. Here's a little dam that they have also to control the water here. They want it to go this way, they let it go this way. If they want it to go, if it gets too full, they want it to go the other way, they let it go the other way. So, got restrooms here on the left, but they're closed right now. Got this little path here where you can go down with your bike. I normally like to get off here. If there ain't a lot of people, I can ride it down, no problem. I've done it before, but I'd rather just stop and walk it. They really have fixed up downtown San Antonio. So if you guys that are not from here and you want to come to our city, you know, this is what you're going to see right here. I mean, there's a lot of places where along the river. I'm not going to go to that area because it's full of tourists and it's kind of full down there, and I don't want to riding a bike. I don't think it's really a good idea, you know. Maybe next time I'll walk it, but I think I'm just going to have enough time to film just this little area here, this path from where I started from. It's a little bit windy right now. I had ordered a mic, and I got it already, but I didn't bring it because I wanted to do an unboxing. And so an unboxing video, and so I didn't bring it, and I was already headed out the door, and I said, nah, I'm just gonna wait. So stay tuned for that unboxing video on that mic that I bought for, it's connected to your phone, and you connect one part of it to your phone, and then the other part you clip it onto your collar or, you know, anywhere on your body. And it has noise cancellation, so you're able to cancel out the noise. This part right here, there's always some homeless people there. They're always there on that one little part there, and I'm surprised because the police roam this area all the time, and they don't tell them anything. I guess they don't tell them anything, or maybe they do, and they just come back and lay down, which is, I mean, they're not bothering nobody, you know. I mean, they're actually, you can tell they're just resting, you know. And I sometimes put myself in that situation, and I'm like, man, it must be rough, you know, like if you don't have anywhere to stay and you just run into hard times and you ain't got no money, no food, and that's rough. So just let them leave them there and let them enjoy the scenery down here as well, you know. They're not bothering nobody. As you can see, this little trail goes quite a ways into the downtown area. I don't know how much of my phone this is capturing, but I'm hoping it's capturing most of it. I got some miniature roses here on the side and some floribunda roses. Here's some periwinkle right there. It's called periwinkle. It comes in white, purple, red, and blue, or purple. It's like a bluish purple. And called Vinca minor. I got some Salvia gregis there. Lantanas. All these beautiful plants here on the side. Some crepe myrtles. Got a banana plant there. Coleus. I call them coleus. And my Trek 730 is, man, this thing is, there's some red Vinca minor right there. The Vinca's the periwinkle that I was talking about. This bike that I have it's a nice bike, I tell you. You know, it's a hybrid bike, and it's really been a blessing to me. Look at all these coleus there. They got pink ones, variegated with pink and white coleus. I believe that's what that plant is called. I used to study plants a lot, and it's been so long. I used to be a rosarian. And here's that butterfly plant right here. This one right here. And got some here. And they say that if you want butterflies to come into your garden, to plant those butterfly plants, they have some type of like milky substance inside of them, and I believe the butterflies lay their eggs on them so that when the babies are born, they can eat that plant. Here's some begonias, white begonias over here. Native lantana. I think that's the firecracker plant. Here's that plumbago I was talking about. Purple plumbago. They got it in white too, but the white doesn't grow very good.
There's actually a pretty big continent.
You can see all the variety of plants here that they got. It's just amazing. And look at the mountain laurel up there. I'm sorry, not mountain laurel. The ball cypress. Look at all these begonias right here mixed in with these other plants right here. That looks beautiful. Is that something or what? That's some jasmine ground cover. I think this is I've been calling them other plant calleas, but I think this is the calleas right there. This one I think is this one I've been calling it calleas, but I think it's a different. That's a different. I don't think that's calleas, so sorry about that. And look at this palm tree. The blooms that come off of this palm tree. This white blooms here. All the begonias. And here's the area that pretty much starts getting crowded. You can see the sidewalk got a little bit more narrower. And this is, I think the Holiday Inn is right here to the left. And this is where it really starts getting crowded when there's, right now, it's around, I want to say it's around at least 6 o'clock. But later on in an hour or so, the people will start coming out, and because it's a little bit more shadier. And the sun doesn't really get dark here till 9 o'clock at night, 9 p.m. So I think I'm going to make a turnaround here because there's those boats, those river boats right there that you can rent. You can pay to get on them. I think it's like $8. Don't quote me on that. Brought my grandson over here one time, and we were coming down this path here, and there was a snake right there. It was peeking his head out, and it was a big old water snake. And then a lot of people started looking at it. I guess it got scared and went in the water and started swimming. People started going, "Oh my God!" They were all freaked out. Right. Thank you. And here's this purple plant here that pretty much anybody can grow here. It's called running dude, and you take a piece of that stuff, or if you know anybody that has it, just take a piece off of it, or have them give you a little bit of some pieces off of that thing, and you just get a pencil, make a hole in the dirt, and put it in there, and just water it in, and it'll root itself, and it'll grow. And then once it grows, then you can just trim it, and then put some more next to it, and it'll all fill in. You'll have that purple plant growing like that. It's a real easy plant to grow. Here's the purple potato plant along the edge right there. Like a rhizome type of potato, potato vine. I used to know the name to all these plants, and I've gotten a little bit rusty on it, so if not, I would be calling out all these names. But there's the Dusty Miller right there. It's a little white plant that it's a cool plant. It's very drought resistant, and it loves the heat, and it's called Dusty Miller. Look it up, and it grows here in our state. But as you can see, all the beautiful plants here, they just got them everywhere. the other day when I came over here, it was a little bit later, like around 7:30. And man, I'll tell you, it was packed down here. Not only the tourists, but the people that come down here and exercise. Like right now, they're probably just getting off of work. And so they still got to go home and get dressed and everything and then put on their exercise clothes. And then they'll come down here and start walking and running. Thank you. And yeah. I come here every so often, and just mainly because sometimes I want to be able to, exercise a little bit more vigorously, and so I'll go somewhere else where there ain't a lot of people, and I can really get a workout. This stuff down here is jasmine ground cover. It also comes as a climber. So they got a ground cover and they got a climber, and they both give out this little white fragrant flower. There's some periwinkle right there, the different colors. Vinca minor, botanical name, Vinca minor. Got pecan trees and ball cypress all along the river here. A lot of people sometimes like the palms, They always ask me, what's the name of that palm that grows kind of low? And I always know which one they're talking about because in the neighborhoods that I cruise, they have a lot of them. It's called the sago palm. Look at that over there across the river. How pretty that looks. On your left. Oops, sorry about that. Look at that area there. It has grass on. Looks like a amphitheater type seating there. This area right here, I saw some people coming in one time through there with a canoe. And I asked them, I said, do they let you go in there with a canoe? And they said, no. We're volunteer workers. Excuse me, thank you. We're volunteer workers for the river. They clean up the river, all the trash and debris, And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. People volunteer to do that. I wouldn't mind doing that. Yeah, you see all that Turk's cap up there? I don't usually drive fast down here unless there ain't no people, I'll drive a little bit faster, but I don't like driving fast down here in the Riverwalk because there's a lot of people that are just out here enjoying themselves, relaxing. They don't want some biker coming by hauling ass. there's along this river walk. There's a lot of exits that you can exit. Like there's one right there. See, and they're just exit that you can exit. People that live on that street, they just come in through there. And if you live on the other block, you come in through they have exit entrances everywhere, and you can just come and get into the river walk over here anywhere in the downtown area. Even like me, that I got in through coming from Brack over there, so pretty much you can. They have entrances all over the river walk, so even on the other side of the river they got
Shortly
entrances.
before he goes to the chief director, so I got it. And so, yeah, that line is fine. But
I'm gonna take a little water break here.
well, yes, we only want to
There's that little dam I was talking about where they have these doors and they control the water in here in the river. I was born in Dallas. I wasn't born here in San Antonio. I was born in Dallas, Texas. And my parents were migrant workers, and they used to go down there for work. And I was baptized in Red Oak, Texas. And so I guess I'm a native Texan. But at a very young age, I think I was around 4 or 5 years old, I left to, my parents took us to California, Los Angeles. And we went down there to live. And I stood there till I was around 12 years old. I remember because I was a boxer, and I fought my last fight there. I was 12 years old, and it was my 12th fight. So that's what I remember. And then my dad was a butcher, and he got hurt. He slipped and got hurt. And wasn't able to work anymore over there. They got a settlement from the company that he worked with, and with that settlement, we came back to San Antonio. I wanted to show this place here. This is the VFW Post 76. It's a big old Victorian home. It's a beautiful white house. They always have bands there, and they're always jamming out there. The blues, they're always playing blues there. I like blues, and they're always playing blues there, blues music. And so, yeah, VF Post 76. I never forget that white house. It's a big old Victorian house. I like Victorian homes. I like going on the east side and different parts of the city and looking at these historic homes. I'm going to be showing a lot of those. I have also taken a lot of pictures. On your left. And taken hundreds of pictures of Victorian homes when I used to go and walk in the neighborhoods and look at these Victorian homes, historic homes, you know. And on your left. On your left. Sorry about that. And yeah, so I got a lot of pictures, and I might put a lot of those pictures on videos as well so y'all can see them. By the way, my channel is going to be called the Central Texas Cruiser, just in case you're interested in looking at some of my other videos. It's not just going to be about cruising, it's just going to be about lifestyle changes that I've made. I'm 65 years old, and when I was 60 years old, I did a 380. You know, I just made a turnaround, and I just changed my diet. I was up to 300 pounds, and I was pretty heavy, unhealthy, high blood pressure, and I just decided to I wasn't diabetic. On your left. I wasn't diabetic or anything like that, but I did have high blood pressure. And so I just decided, you know, I just wanted to change. You know, I was real heavy and couldn't do a lot of things because of my weight. And so I got on a vegan diet. You know, I had tried all kinds of different diets before thank you. When I was a kid, like I said, I was a boxer, and my dad used to wake me up at 5 in the morning, and he'd take me jogging because he was a boxer too, and he'd take me jogging 5 in the morning before he had to go to work. It's a little bit early for me because I didn't have to go to school till 7:30, but you know, he would get me up and we'd go to this park and soccer field and go run. I don't know how many miles, but I used to run. And so and then growing up in my 20s, early 20s, late teens, I used to start gaining weight, and then I would get on a diet, and I would lose 20 pounds, and then I'd go back to eating the way, you know. But for those 3 months, it was hell. You know, back in those days, we didn't have the information that we have now with different types of eating habits, you know. So back then, all we had is we just knew that we had to cut back on eating and, you know, eat smaller portions and eat a lot of vegetables, you know what I mean, a lot of salads, you know. And little did I know that by just cutting back some of the meat, I could have probably reached my goals a lot faster. But, you know, you don't know these things, so you don't know these things, and so you really don't. But I just decided to do a complete complete 380 and change my diet. I stopped drinking. I don't drink alcohol. I stopped drinking alcohol, beer, and any of that, and I was on a SOS diet, but not really the salt. SOS diet is like sugar, oil, and salt free, but I never really I got compared to my regular diet that I was on, the SAD diet, the standard American diet. My salt intake, just it was very little, because when you're on a regular standard American diet, well, you're eating the McDonald's and the Cokes and the Burger Kings and the Bill Millers and the tacos and all the good stuff, And so when you're eating that diet, there's a lot of salt in those foods, and so you're gonna have your salt intake's gonna be a lot. But since then, I have like I'll cook a pot of beans and I'll put 2 teaspoons of salt on it, but out of that pound of beans, you get a lot of servings, so anytime you sit down, you eat 1 serving, you're only getting very minimal salt. And I exercise a lot, so I need a little bit of salt, but sugar, I don't eat sugar, and I don't eat oil. And it's been 5 years now. I started my vegan journey at 60, and I'm on June the 1st, and we're now in the third week of June now, so it's been 5 years now that I've been a vegan. And it's a little bit difficult. I hope you don't mind me talking about my diet instead of the plants, but I think I showed you all the different plants that are down here, and they're the different names of them, the ones that I could remember. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my diet. And so it's a little bit difficult when it comes, it's not difficult for me, but I noticed that there was how should I say, I don't know how to say it, but like when you change your diet to being a vegan and you can't eat sugar and oil and salt, it's a little bit difficult, because when you go to parties or family gatherings, all they have is barbecue, and so a lot of Texans, we barbecue here a lot, and they barbecue everything, anywhere from weenies to sausage to chicken and brisket, you name it, we barbecue it down here in Texas. So, when you're a vegan, you pretty much only eat like fruits and vegetables. You can eat them raw or cooked, but it's a little bit difficult because they don't have a lot of that, and everything has sugar, everything has oil, like they might have some rice and some potato salad, at the gathering, but, they put mayonnaise and they put, all those ingredients have sugar and oil in them, and cheese, well, of course, that's another thing. I don't eat any dairy, which is eggs and cheese and milk, and so when you go to these gatherings, everything has sugar, oil, and salt, So you're kind of like stuck. But I've gotten to where if I go to my daughter's house and she's having a gathering over there with my grandkids or something, that's okay because, they already know me and they know that dad doesn't eat that stuff. So my daughter she'll volunteer to cook me, whatever I want. And she knows how I like it and what I want. And she normally would tell me, Dad, you want me to make you some rice? And I'll say, yeah, if you want to make it. And she'll make me her rice, and her rice is, I don't know what it is, but, everybody has their own magic touch, and she has hers, and I love her rice, and I'll take my cucumber salad and I'll take, my cucumber salad, which has, cucumbers, avocado, and parsley, and has a little bit of vinegar in it, and has avocado and cilantro, onions, lime, and I chop them up. Oh, tomatoes, and you can put, whatever you want in it, but that's the way I make it. And then put lime on it, and then a little bit of salt, and then I eat that with my Spanish rice that my daughter cooks for me, and then I might eat a veggie sandwich later on that evening or whatever. Like I'll get that bread, Ezekiel bread, that doesn't have it's a plant-based bread. It doesn't have none of the oils or sugars or anything like that. It's just a plant-based bread, and I put tomatoes on it, lettuce, the organic mix, spring mix, baby spring mix, and it has all kinds of different types of dandelions and you name it, it has it in there. And I use that on my sandwiches, tomatoes, avocados, cucumbers. Sometimes I'll put zucchini in it. And so I can make my own, And I've done that in different situations, where I've had to, and I just take my own lunch and I put it in my car. And then, I don't know why, but sometimes I feel a little bit embarrassed, about it because, like, they're like, I don't want them to, I don't want to be like, I don't know, I just sometimes feel uncomfortable, like, I don't want them to feel like I think I'm too good or because I'm eating, different than they are, it doesn't really bother me, what they eat. Everybody's has their own individual taste. Some people don't like barbecue. Some people don't like sausage or none of that. They only get the beans and they get the rice, or they get or they'll just eat the brisket, and they won't eat nothing else, or the chicken, So everybody has their own individual taste, But when I'm in that kind of situation and I know I'm going to be there for, because normally when it's a family gathering, there's going to be a lot of beer drinking in my family, and I don't drink anymore. I don't drink. It's been 5 years since I've drank anything, and so. But it doesn't bother me. Everybody's having a good time, and sometimes I wish I could have a cold beer. Maybe one of these days I will, but I just haven't did it anymore. But yeah, but that's my story. I lost 100 pounds actually. And I went all the way from 300 pounds all the way to 183 pounds. And I guess about a year ago, I started gaining a little weight. And I started checking I started asking myself, why am I gaining a little weight? You know, I'm on this vegan diet. But what happened is that I noticed like I kept track of what I was eating. Before, I didn't used to keep track of anything, because in this kind of diet, you don't have to keep track of calories, because, you know, it's all veggies. It's all lettuce and broccoli and steamed broccoli, and it's all veggies, you know. So there's no calorie. You're gonna lose it, you know. And so it's not a problem, you know. But when I started gaining a little weight, I started looking into, I started seeing what I'm eating, and basically what it was is I was eating a lot of, I started eating tortillas, corn tortillas, and I was eating late at night, because I'd get hungry late at night, and I was hungry. And so it's already been over 5 hours since I've eaten, and I was hungry. And so I would start to go get me something to eat. And so when you eat late at night, you go to sleep, and you have those calories inside you, well, you're going to start gaining weight. And it wasn't just the tortillas. I was addicted to eating peanuts. I love peanuts. I was eating a lot of peanuts. And so, and then also, the only fat that I eat in my diet is avocados, and I was eating a lot of avocados as well. So, you know, just by cutting back on some of those things, I was able to go back to my weight that I wanted. I'm still a little bit over than what I want. I'm at 215, but I wanted to at least weigh 200 pounds, which is probably still too heavy, you know. But I'm 5'9", and it's better than the way I used to be. So I feel a lot better. If I can just get down to 200, I normally level out at 200. So it's like when you're on this vegan diet, you start losing weight right away, because you know, it's a drastic change in your body. And then not only that, but you know, like I used to have allergies, and I had like asthma and stuff like that I was having trouble with, like wheezing at night and stuff like that. And when I got on this vegan diet, I started noticing that those things went away, you know. And so it was kind of weird to me. I didn't understand why, you know. I just knew that it had to do something with my diet. And so, yeah, I'd get pimples and stuff like that. It went away, and you know, it was just a total change, you know. And so you start losing a lot of weight, and then some of these, you know, my high blood pressure went away, and I went from 190 or it was 167 over 90 down to 110 over 70, you know. And so that made a big difference, you know, just in my diet change. And so so you might want to look into, you know, if you are wanting to change your diet, you know, you might want to look into the vegan diet. I actually ran into this video called Fork Over Knives, and it pretty much gave a story about animals and how they're killed so that we can eat, you know. And it had a lot to do with nutrition, and it was a really good documentary, and I think that's what really caught my eye. You know, I decided to change it helped me, you know, to decide where I can go, you know, because I didn't know exactly what to do, you know. And so when I was able to find something to help me, then right away, you know, it was like a clear path, you know. It's like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. And yeah, and then I did it, and and it worked out for me, you know. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of changes you got to make, you know, and you know, your family might not like it, you know, because but if they care about you and everything, and they're, you know, they see that you were real heavy and now you look good and everything, or feel good and look good, you know, they might just say, you know, that's good for mom or dad, you know. But look into it, you know. I mean, it's a good diet to try out. You know, you've tried a lot of other ones, you know, and you can try that one. You know, just try it out, and if it's not for you, well, you can always, you know, do something else. But I think my video is gonna end here, and so how you doing, YouTubers? Hope you enjoyed the ride. My video turned off for a little while, so but I'm gonna have to edit this video and clip it together, you know. Like I said, I'm still learning the ropes, and I got a mic coming in, so if you see that some of the video came out a little bit, you know, the sunlight sometimes is too bright or you can't hear my voice. I don't talk very loud. I'm kind of like a quiet talker, and so a lot of people say, you know, they can't hear me. So but yeah, this is it with my video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back on my channel again. I'm the Central Texas Cruiser, and I hope to see you again on my channel. Come on by and look at my videos. Give me a like and subscribe, and comment if you have any comments, and I'll see you next time. Hasta la vista, amigos.